Dr. Jeff Barke.
Good afternoon, Patriots. I'd like to ask you all a favor first. I know you've noticed this, but I just want to give a shout out to our men and women in uniform that are out here today. They're out here covering our six and making sure that this peaceful protest isn't being disrupted. So thank you. Appreciate you being here. What this is really about to me, it's about freedom and liberty. It's about who has the right to make a decision to determine where your kids are going to go to school and what you're going to decide for your own family and for your children. That's what this is really about to me. And when the person who occupies this place behind me is telling us far and wide in California what we must do with our own children, that's wrong, and that's why I'm here. Our children must be in schools. Even if sometimes I don't like what goes on in schools, they must be in schools. It is not good for them to be home full-time. It's not good for the parents. We can't work. It's not good for our society. And most importantly, those folks that are most affected are the ones that can't afford to stay home. So our minority families are disproportionately being harmed here. So what's their motivation? It's not about helping the children. It's not about helping the black and brown community, because those are the folks that are being hurt the most. When you look at scores in California, less than 50% of the black and brown community are reading at grade level or doing math at grade level. And when they don't go to school for an entire summer, and when they don't go to school for semesters because it's closed, all of our kids start to drop. Now, if you're wealthy, you're lucky. You can hire a teacher. You can organize micro schools and your kids can still learn. You can go find a private school and enroll your child. But if you don't have the ability to do that, you're at the mercy of our supreme leader. And unfortunately, that's not right. We have over 1,000 independent school districts in California. There's a reason why they're independent. There's a reason why those school districts have independently elected school board members. And those are the folks that should be making decisions, open, closed, hybrid, with the input of parents, their local communities. That's where the decision should be made, not in this house behind me. And this governor and many legislators want to take that right away from you, and I'm so proud that you're here today to say we're not going to take this anymore. Now the difference is we're peaceful. We speak with our voice, we speak with our vote, we write letters, we make phone calls, and we'll continue to do that while the left turns violent. We won't do that. But we'll make our voices heard now. We'll make our voices heard in November. And most importantly, it's not just the big races that are important. Also important are the low-level races, your local school board race, your local city council race. You can make a big difference by organizing and supporting a school board candidate in November, a local city council candidate in November. That's as important as voting for governor or for president or a congressional leader or for a senator. Those local elections make a big difference, so please get involved. Schools are safe, children are low risk. There's no reason that they shouldn't be back in school. There has not been one death in California of a child from COVID-19. Not one death. There's no evidence that children represent a risk to adults. We're not seeing that they're spreading it to at-risk adults. And by the way, if there are at-risk adults, by all means, let's protect them. But we don't protect them by preventing our children from getting back into school. That's not what we do. A healthy society protects the most vulnerable, and we should. Those that are high risk, those that are elderly, that live in nursing homes, we must protect them. But for the rest of us, we should be making decisions on our own and having maximum liberty. I'd like to introduce to you a hero to me, somebody that's been fighting the good fight as an elected official, and that's my wife. She's an elected member of the Orange County Board of Education, and it's my honor to introduce her to you and allow her to say a few words. Honey?
Thank you, honey. So blessed to be here today. So blessed to see everybody here. Thanks for fighting for the children. It's so important. If we don't fight for our kids, nobody will. We know what's best for them, and don't forget that. Don't let the government decide whether your children should be in school or what type of school. You're the best one to decide if they should be in public district school, in public charter school, in private school, or homeschooling. And don't let anyone make that decision. Our board approved a white paper just about a week and a half ago, 4-1. And that white paper gives you ammunition to take to your local elected officials and say, how about this information? This is good information. Experts were there. We drew our conclusions in that white paper from experts, and we decided that there's much more risk to keeping our children out of school than in school. We need to get the kids back in school. Let's do everything we can. And I'm not telling kids they have to go to school. For the children, the families that fear school, stay home. For the teachers that don't want to go back, stay home. But we need to open the schools for the children that want and should be there. There's many children who don't eat when school's not open. They come to school for breakfast and lunch. We need to feed those children. There's children that are abused at home. We know that child abuse is up in Orange County right now. Often it's those teachers that report the child abuse. So let's open our schools and give our children that feel comfortable going to school, let's let them back to school. With a mask, without a mask. It's up to the families. Nobody should tell us. Take care. God bless you all. Thanks for coming out today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have a few more speakers left. And we actually have a local high school student who's about to be a senior, correct? That's right. So it's Rheane Gonzalez from Del Campo. She's going to say a few words.
Hi. So my name is Rheane Gonzalez. This upcoming year I will be a senior at Del Campo High School. And I'm afraid that I will not be able to experience my senior year. When we left school back in March, we were told that we would only be gone for 2 weeks. And we ended up having to finish the school year distance learning, basically on Zoom calls and FaceTime calls with my peers who also didn't know what to do, what was going on, most of the agenda half the time. Yes. By the end of the school year, my grades actually dropped from like all A's to C's at the highest because I just couldn't bring myself to get up in the morning and push myself and be like, this is something that I really need to do, although college has always been my dream and is my goal and still is. I didn't have somebody to tell me, pick your head up, focus, look at the board, you're missing this, you're missing that. I just thought, like, how much longer is this gonna go on? Are we gonna go back to school? Are we gonna go back to being normal? So it got really tough. It was very hard because I pride myself on my grades. I barely passed. And that was tough on me, and I took it, I was very hard on myself for it because it should be up to me. Like, this is my future. We are the future. People are making decisions for us when I just don't understand why. During distance learning, it was hard, very hard, mentally and emotionally. I ended up staying with my boyfriend's family because my mom had moved out of state. And having having to adjust to that, to a different household, was insane. Let me just say that. It was just hard to not have my family by me, and then to not have my friends by me. All we did was stare at screens all day for 8 hours, just to go to bed and wake up the next day to do it all over again, which I personally hate. Through 4 months of distance learning, I became more insecure, I became more depressed, and I had too much time to allow my mind to wander to places a child's mind should never wander. Although I was in a loving home, I felt as if I was constantly alone. I'm a 6-year avid student and part of an avid family. I have grown with these people, cried with these people, laughed with these people. I lived every day of my life with the same group of people, which is my support system for 6 years. They promised 14 days, and it's now been around 134. I never even got to say bye to my school family because we didn't know we weren't going back. I have friends that are battling severe depression, and I have friends that are in abusive households. I have friends that weren't able to handle this learning format and failed classes. I have friends that are moving out of state and that I would probably never see again just to go back to a normal school. I have friends battling a constant green light, red light situation with sports, that they need to keep them out of trouble and their grades up, and which have made them better people. We as children are battling all these things behind closed doors. Our voices are being ignored. Please don't stop fighting for us and keep believing in us. Please don't cut another senior year short because I really was looking forward to this. Thank you.
I'll be super quick. I forgot to announce in Orange County, we're going to have a huge rally to open the schools. We're going to have it right in front of the Teachers Union headquarters in Santa Ana. We're hoping to get thousands of families out there. It's being sponsored by the Parent Union. You can find them on Facebook. They're parents who fight against the real union. Okay, so Tuesday, November 4th, 5 to 7 p.m. in front of the Teachers Union. Look for Parent Union Facebook. Call me, Mary Barke. Okay, show up. Thanks.
August. Did you mean August?
Thank you.
You said November.
August 4th. August 4th. August 4th.